Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. Michael Matheson has had his data usage published, but this information is incomplete. It merely shows the amount of data that was used. It doesn't show what the data actually was. It raises far more questions than it answers. He's still to come clean on what he was doing, but there's speculation that he was watching the Old Firm derby between Rangers and Celtic on that day. It seems it's highly possible that this was the case. If it is the case, then all he has to do is say, look, I didn't realise it would rack up that much. It was a particularly good game. I think it ended 2-2. And, that's what it is, which is why I'm offering to pay it in full, which I should have done in the first place. However, the fact is, he put the claim in total, said it was for constituency and parliamentary use, and took the money. That's fraud. If he says he was watching a football match and claimed that full value, he needs to be prosecuted for fraud. But we'll have a look at this article to see how much murkiness there is in this entire story, because it doesn't just end there. Here goes. Right, now nobody is claiming, of course, that this was the reason, that it was because he was watching a football match. It just so happens that on the particular day on which the most data was used, this one day was the day of the Old Firm derby. And so it seems possible and probable that this actually was what was going on. But as I say, he's put the claim in, claimed it was all parliamentary and constituency business, and so that claim is therefore fraud. It fraudulently tried to claim an expense for his own personal entertainment, which is clearly illegal. And so, yes, he should, of course, pay the entire bill himself. He should have done so day one. None of this would ever have happened. However, it doesn't, there's no confirmation that this is actually the reason. We want to hope it is, because that way we at least know it wasn't far worse, far dirtier, far more degrading, and no child got harmed in the process. Although I will say his taste in football teams is pretty bad if he's supporting Celtic. And before everyone has a go, remember it is Celtic who are pro-Hamas. It is Celtic who sort of take the side of those who murder babies, and he's supporting them. So make your mind up on that one. But we'll have a look at this because it does ask more questions than it answers, and it isn't going to look good. Anyway, Michael Matheson racked up 8,000 of data roaming bill in just one day. The same day Celtic played Rangers. The Scottish Government's Health Secretary's full bill for his data roaming charges has been published by the Scottish Parliament, with questions being asked about how it was racked up. And they've spelt racked with a W there. That's not how you spell rack when you're racking things up. Honest to heavens to Betsy, my goodness, my mad maiden aunt. The state of journalism. Learn to spell. Anyway, the mystery surrounding Matheson's huge data bill has gotten murkier after it was revealed he racked up £8,665 charge in just one day. That's a lot of furious masturbation if he's not watching Celtic. In total, 3.8 gigabytes was used on that day, which was the highest amount used in any single 24 hours on his 7-day Christmas holiday to Morocco. He used a total of 6.1 gigabytes during his time in the African country, which, according to calculations made by the Daily Telegraph, is the equivalent of streaming Netflix for 24 hours or for sending 175 emails a day for 3 months. I don't believe he did that. I don't believe he was doing that level of parliamentary and constituency work. We know he's a liar. We know he's a thief. It's just now he's been caught and he's offering to pay the money back. I can say these things without fear of prosecution because he claimed money through the expense system and said that it was all constituency and parliamentary work. And there's no way that is. So he has lied, therefore he's a liar, and he's taken the money through fraudulent means, therefore he's a thief. So, we can look at him in the eye and say that he's a lying, fraudulent thief. And he, of course, is now the man in charge of your health. Wouldn't trust him an inch. Anyway, according to Money Mail expert, streaming a 2-hour HD movie would use about 4 gigabytes. On January the 2nd, a public holiday in Scotland, there was a big football game on, with Celtic taking on Rangers in an Old Firm derby, which ended up in a 2-2 draw at Ibrox. I would have put that then as Rangers taking on Celtic. Again, curious way of putting things around if it was at Ibrox. Castle Grayskull, as my wife calls it. And she said, just talking about my wife, she reckons it would cost an estimated 3.5 gigabytes to stream abroad. And that is a lot of money when other people are paying for it. There's no suggestion that this was the reason for the bill, however, because rivals have suggested he'd use the iPad to stream other entertainment. Other big data days for Mr. Matheson were December the 28th, where he used 1.26 gigabytes at a cost of £2,249, and New Year's Eve, where he racked up a bill of £20 for using 505.67 megabytes. The former date was when Celtic played Hibernian in the league. Scottish Tory MSP Murdo Fraser said, "I'm sure it's just a coincidence. There was an Old Firm match on the 2nd of January. I'm not. He supports Celtic. Anyway, the Health Secretary has refused to submit his device for an investigation into browsing history. That, of course, is the most damning insight of all. If it was just football, he could hand it over, say, look, it was accidental, didn't mean, sorry about that, look, I'll pay the charge and I'll apologise and then immediately resign for being a lying fraudster. And that will be an end to the matter. However, we're not sure. We don't know if it is the football match. Now, if it's the football match and he resigns, he's paid back the bill and he resigns, I would say that would be an end to the matter. We draw a veil, we move on, we just think, you sad little wanker, should have paid it up front straight away, none of this would have happened. However, the fact that he's not handing his phone or his iPad over for a sort of scrutiny still suggests in my mind that there's something on there that he does not want scrutinised. And he's hoping to God people really just think it's the Celtic match. But I don't think it is. Otherwise he would have come clean, surely. Anyway, Holyrood has launched its own urgent review into its policies on mobile devices and data roaming charges for MSPs. I would also want to know why this man was taking government property, which may have confidential information on it, into a foreign country, especially one deemed to be a danger, on the danger list by the Foreign and Commonwealth Office. It seems a very poor judgment of security, and that alone really should be a resignation matter. Anyway, presiding officer, Right Honourable Alison Johnson MSP, said, following a meeting of the SPCB on Tuesday, officials have been instructed to carry out an urgent review of Parliament's policies and procedures around mobile data usage and data roaming charges and how these are handled. This is an issue which I and the SPCB, it's a very awkward set of initials, isn't it, take very seriously. We must be in a position where we have reviewed and tightened all policies to ensure the present situation cannot happen again. Here's the simple thing. Make them present their bills, and also, when they present their bills, they have to hand the phone over. If it's over a certain amount of money, they have to have their phone handed over for examination. It's not their phone, it's not their iPad. It belongs to the people of Scotland. They paid for it and are paying for it. And so it must be inspected randomly at regular intervals. There you go. And if they knew that there was a risk that it would be randomly searched, then maybe they could use their own devices for whatever particular form of entertainment they like. Anyway, the policy review will also set out the circumstances and cost thresholds for out of the ordinary bills to be escalated to the SPCB for explicit sign-off. I've literally just said that. This will ensure full transparency and full accountability, and it's vital we have every confidence in the expenses scheme and that its integrity is maintained. There's a lot of other crap going on. I'm not going to go through all that. Basically, there was a football match on. We'd have no idea what he was watching, if he was watching the football or anything. If he hands his phone over, they inspect it and say, yes, he was watching, and whichever service provider it was, and it was the football match, then we can move on from that. That can be an end to it. He's a dick. He's an idiot. He's a liar. And he's a thief. He resigns. He pays the bill. And he pisses off. End of story. But until he hands that phone over, the suspicion is there that he was engaged in some pretty low, degenerate video viewing involving possibly very young people. That's in my mind. And that's why he's worried. And that's why he cannot hand that phone over. He daren't. I'll stop there. I'll come up. Now, ultimately, and what is my genuine hope, is that it does turn out that he's just a big Celtic fan and he was watching the games. I think that is what would be the best thing for him. And I do really genuinely hope that's all that is, because he then has an out. He then has a way of getting out and that nobody was harmed. As long as he pays the bill back and he resigns, that's fine. If it's worse, then you know that phone has to be inspected. And then he has to be investigated. And then you have to face the consequences if what was being viewed was anything other than basically, should we say, innocent viewing material. Now, even if it was just sort of P-hub stuff, adult entertainment, as they say, as long as it's legitimate adult entertainment, again, that's his business. I don't particularly want to know what his proclivities are, so long as he pays the bill and resigns. But he's still being very shady. He's got an out and he's not taking it. And you have to ask why. Thank you very much for watching. I hope this has put sufficient questioning in your mind to realise that perhaps all is not well in the Fondler's household at the moment. I wonder if he is experiencing, shall we say, the cold shoulder and the suspicion from his wife as to what exactly he was watching on his iPad while laying in the bed, furiously masturbating. Till next time, stay safe, stay well, and don't let that image enter your mind and creep you out for the rest of the day. Bye.